Let's get the party started.
Yeah. How and when did you get into Winona Earp?
Um, Probably towards the first of the year, um, give or take a month. I've known about the show for a long time, but because things going on in my life, I have not been able to um, watch it and just fall in love with it and get involved, with the Earper community because, man, it's some crazy people out there that it's insane how so devoted Earpers are. So,
Okay, so what did you hear about the show? Like, and who told you
well,
about
to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about it as far as having
LGBT
a
couple?
queer or LGBT storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about it actually at all. Um, I thought it was just a cool looking show.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, but what caught my attention, there's my chihuahua trying to get my attention. What caught my attention was I saw some ads on TV talking about the Way Hot, and I didn't know what it was,
Okay.
but I saw Kat Burrell, and I was like, man, she is so pretty. And I was like, and I saw other people on the show, and I was like, actually, this looks like a really good show. That's just kind of how I came to it. I knew of the show from when it first came out, but I couldn't access it at the time because of what was going on in my life.
Okay. So what was the defining moment when you were like watching it and you're like, that's it, I'm hooked, I have to watch it? Like not
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. That's the first time Nicole and Waverly met each other in the bar.
memories.
When Nicole turned back and looked at her, it was just like, okay, I'm done.
The Stetson
I'm
and everything.
Yeah, the dang Stetson. But yeah, that was it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was hooked from the get go. I mean, Melanie Scrofano is brilliant, and the writers are just sick. They're so good.
Yeah, just like totally like
Um,
bowing
and
down to the writers.
oh, most definitely, it keeps you so guessing all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I'm one of these people that I watch and I rewatch because they say stuff that I miss, and so there's something that I have found in the episode in the entire series that I'm not sure anybody's completely aware of yet, and I'll get to that later.
Okay.
So because I haven't seen anybody talk about it, but
All right.
sort of, but not. Anyways, okay, but
Yeah,
that's how I came to it.
that's exactly like how I watch it. I'm like a psychopath. Like the new episode airs,
Uh huh.
I watch it
Yeah.
during the whole week until the next one airs. And
They,
my
they released
cousin's
the
like,
preview.
"You're insane, girl. Just calm down."
Yeah, the preview they just released about them sitting on the porch and the
Oh yeah,
fire. I've
yeah,
watched it probably 10 times today, at least.
yes, me too,
At least,
for sure.
So yeah, I'm completely obsessed with it. It's like my new obsession. So, which is
Okay.
a good thing in my life right now. That's a very good thing. So,
All right. So I'm interested if you like have any like a I wouldn't say a quote, but like a certain scene that the conversation like stands out to you.
to be honest with you, in this kind of it harkens back to the Jolene episode. I'm here and I stay. And again, the reason it connected with me is because of my own mental health and everything that I've been dealing with for the last 3 years. And so it's I have I very much connect to the concept of wanting to take your own life, and feeling like you have nobody, and feeling that worthlessness. And so I very much connected to that. That's probably the single line that stands out most to me, probably the single moment that stands out most to me from the show. I don't, now I will say this, I didn't particularly find that I enjoyed the Jolene episode because it was too close to home in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, I get it.
But I recognize and I fully appreciate what was going on and what they were doing and what they were trying to get across. And so it was um, very connecting to me.
Okay. Yeah, I totally get it. That's I am here and I stay. So I have this list of like things and objects and whatever that I'm like collecting, and I'm gonna get it like a full sleeve tattoo.
Oh, I know that's one of the ones I'm gonna have done is I'm
Lit-
here and I stay.
Literally, like I can show you my list right now. It's right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's on my list. That's definitely. I'm the same. I would love to do a full sleeve as well, but and it's funny because I've been thinking about it a lot more in the last few months.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot more.
Obviously, we're talking right now because you say that the show changed your life and it helped you. Like, can you like get a little more in detail?
Okay. Well, let me give you a little bit of background on why this show actually kind of connected with me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, Around 3 years ago, my mom uh, got sick, and was, I guess, she was about 78, roughly, give or take a few months. And I had been living with my parents to help take care of them. They were elderly, my stepfather and her, and I lived here. It was kind of a sense of comfort. And my partner as well, who I had been with for 5 years, and our three dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom got sick,
The children.
and it was something. Yeah, I know, our four babies, and it. She got sick, and she had something that needed to be fixed surgically, but
Mm-hmm.
because of her age and her health, she couldn't have it done. And unfortunately, uh, a year and a half after she they found the problem, she succumbed to essentially infection and passed away here at home. She had been just turned 80. She passed. Her birthday was October 21st. She passed away December 20th.
Okay.
And so I was in a state of utter devastation. I was extremely close to my mom, beyond words, really. And so, in dealing with that, I just really took a turn inward
Mm-hmm.
in not dealing with it. And then I find out essentially my partner and I broke up because I found out she was essentially an addict and had been hiding it for at least a couple of years.
Okay.
So 6 to 8 months after my mom passes, I lose my partner of 5 years. Darkness inside me was getting bad. I sought out some treatment options. I found some low cost because I live with my stepfather now. We live on his income because he's early stage Alzheimer's. He
Mm-hmm.
can't be, he can't live alone. He's mostly functional, but I take care of him, you know, and uh, so I live with him still and still take care of him. And so then 6 to 8 months after my mom passes, I lose her. And then I had one of my two dogs had a heart condition since she was little. And then uh, December 30th, roughly 6 months after I broke up with my partner, we had to put one of my dogs to sleep. So over the course of 375 days, just barely over a year. My mom died, my dog died, and my partner and I of 5 years broke up.
It's like everything on each other
Everything.
piling up.
Yeah. My family, I don't really have much to do with my family because they're not nice people. They're not really people I want in my life. They're just not very pleasant people to be around. I am close with my niece because my mom and I and my stepdad all basically raised her. But outside of that, I'm not close with any of my family, and I've got a lot of family here in Houston, a lot. But I'm not close to any of them, and so I don't really want anything to do with them. They're just not the kind of people I want in my life.
Yeah.
Not only that, unfortunately, in this particular place where I live, that's very conservative, overall, is not a great place to be gay. Not a great place to be a lesbian, which I am. Um, and so I do have a couple of friends that have kind of kept me sane, sort of. But the darkness really, I really turned inward. Really, really turned inward. Um, Months, no joke, months would go by, and I couldn't even get out of bed but to eat on occasion and go to the bathroom. I got to where I wasn't taking showers. I wasn't washing my hair. Wasn't doing anything.
Depression.
The depression, and on top of that, losing my mom and the dog, the grief. And I also have a disorder that I've had for a number of years. It's called generalized anxiety disorder. And it's like anxiety on steroids at times. And the best way for me to explain it is when people ask me about it, I tell them, okay, think about the one thing in your life, the one event in your whole life that you worry the most about. Now multiply that by about 1,000 in your head, and it never stops, it never slows down, and it never goes away.
Yeah.
And that's what my head is like all the time. And so when you combine those, now I'm on medication, but I've changed medications a couple of times to try and help, but I don't think I'm currently on the right medication. I still think there's a ways to go. But where the show helped me, TV was basically all I did was watch because I couldn't sleep. I don't sleep much since my mom passed. I just haven't. Since all of this has happened, my insomnia is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't sleep. So I watch a lot of TV. And in the year and a half, during when my mom was sick, I really didn't have time to just sit down and watch TV. It just was, and that's about the time when it was coming out, when Winona Earp came out, the show started. And I remember hearing about it and thinking, oh, I need to watch it. It looks like a good show. You know, it's Winona Earp, you know, it'd be a fun show to watch. And then after we put my dog to sleep at the end of the year, I was what little progress I thought I had made, I just fell back. And a commercial caught my eye on TV. Oddly enough, it was a commercial about Way Hot. It really was. I swear there was an actual commercial on there. And I think it was on Sci-Fi. It might have been on one of the other channels advertising it. I don't remember, but it was. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I have really thought I was going to watch that show. So TV was kind of my outlet. So I started watching it, and you know, I was really hooked almost from the first moments, you know. But then when I got into it and started watching it and seeing the queer line and the lesbian line with Nicole and Waverly, and seeing the chemistry, the undeniable chemistry between Kat and Dom, it just kind of grabbed me more and just kind of tightened the noose on me, so to speak, to watch it. And so I totally binged it for a couple of days or however long it took me. I just straight through, you know, and just instantly fell in love with it. And then I didn't even know. I had heard prior. I was like, oh, it had got canceled. Me and one of my friends, we were talking about it, and I was like, no, they're bringing it back.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's part of it. But I 7 years ago is when I came out, roughly, give or take 6 months, like I said. And I read a book called Siddhartha. It's a Buddhist book called Siddhartha, and it was recommended to me by a friend of mine that I worked with at the time. And it was literally a life-changing moment for me to realize that I had to start living my authentic life and be who I was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
I have always taken care of everyone else. It was time for me, to some degree, to start taking care of me. And Buddhism always kind of resonated with me. And so I started reading a little bit more about it, and I'd gotten into it. But then my partner and I got together, and I kind of just fell away from it. And there's a reason I'm talking about this, is because it comes back around to the show and Dom and
Yeah, I was
the
I was,
meditation.
I was like
Yeah,
doing parallels with her, and yeah.
exactly. And this is where I've kind of come back around. And when I was watching the show, I started reading more and watching more videos about the actors and the actresses and the cast, and reading more about them, and just trying to binge on information.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I'm a total nerd. It's so funny, but I just, when I started seeing about Dom and realizing she was just coming out, and just kind of her mindset, I connected a lot with that. I've just said to my stepfather that there's a little temple that's not too far from here, and if that one's not open, then I know of another one that's not too far from here that I felt like I was going to start going and trying to get back into meditation. The one thing that I can truly say that this show has done for me is help me. Let me put it to you this way: I've been in a world of just complete darkness
Mm-hmm.
since my mom died, December of 2018, year and a half, a little over a year and a half ago. And for the first time, I saw light
Yeah.
in my life through watching the show, reading and learning about the cast, and seeing how genuine they are. They are some of the most genuine people I think I've ever seen as far as a TV show is concerned. I've seen a lot of videos from people being interviewed and such. No, nothing compares to the authenticity that comes across from them. And I genuinely think that's the way they are in person. And they gave me a little bit of light to hold on to when there was none.
Mm-hmm.
I have suicide has honestly been a thought in my mind in the last year and a half. But in the same breath, it was never something I was very serious about, because I guess I'm the kind of person that I feel like I can't abandon my stepfather and my dog, because she's very, I hate to say this, she's very difficult to deal with. She's a single person per dog, and she would never understand it. She's getting up there in age, and she doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that, no matter what my pain is. And so the show is one of the few things that I genuinely smile about on any given day. It genuinely is, it makes me happy. This last episode has given me palpitations and anxiety through the roof. Every time I think about what Nicole's done, what she's gonna do, it just sends me over the top with my anxiety. since Sunday. I almost have to turn that episode off right now because until I see the
Much.
next episode, because it's just like, okay, I can't handle this much more. But it just genuinely makes me happy to watch the show. It makes me smile. It makes me laugh. Some of the stuff they say is hysterical. It's so funny. And the funny thing about it is there's stuff that you can miss if you are not paying attention. I I binged the first season, and then I went back and I watched the second. I watched it a bit. I binge watched all of the shows. Okay, the whole series. Then I went back and watched it, and I was thoroughly shocked at how much I had missed. Some of the stuff that they kind of say under their breath. Um,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So, and I'm one of these people that I can pick up mistakes in editing, and I'm bad about it. I've already picked up stuff that I'm like, y'all need to look better at your editing because I've seen
That
some
too.
stuff. So I'm telling you, I I pick up on little details because I'm such a detail oriented person, and I pick up on that stuff, and it's terrible because I don't necessarily pick up on it the first time I see something, but when I go back and rewatch it, that's when I really pick up on the stuff like that. So
It's so weird for me. Like I'm talking to you the first time in my life, and I see so many similarities. Like I genuinely think that we're so much
that's awesome.
that
I
it's such a like a weird feeling, and I love it.
oh I know it is. It's really it's great. You know, it,
So like
I
getting back to the thing that you said that you like noticed something and nobody's talking about it. Like what is it?
oh, okay
I
okay.
have one too.
So
I have one too. I'm wondering if it's the same thing.
if it's the same thing, it's going to be funny. So I have, no joke, watched the entire series
Yeah,
probably at least 5 to 10 times. Okay,
for,
somewhere in that neighborhood.
for sure.
Specifically focusing in on Nicole and Waverly.
Okay.
Okay, and paying attention to their scenes together.
Hmm.
Now, they have never said "I love you" to each other in the same scene. They've said "I love you," but not together at the same time in the same scene.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone,
And people are
everyone.
talking about like, oh well, why didn't she say it back? But they're not saying it's never happened where they've said it. They're just saying, oh, I wish she would have said it back to her. Not the fact that it's never happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of where my twisted nerdy mind goes to.
Yeah.
So
No, mine is like a little like more into the like the plot and a little more into the details. Cause okay, so we've established that Waverly is not an Earp. She's not an Earp
yes,
whatsoever.
yes,
Never
we
has
know
been,
that.
never can be. We've
Nope.
established. So in the very first season, the talisman that is buried in the homestead. Remember how
Yeah.
Waverly was telling Winona that her imaginary friend Bobo told her
Mm-hmm.
that it has to be buried in the land by an Earp in order for the talisman
Oh,
to work?
are you sure it said Earp? Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and so look at that
Yes,
scene.
she says that he said that it has to be an Earp to bury the talisman. And I was thinking that maybe it wasn't the case. Maybe he would just like lie to her, or whatever. But then in the third season, when Winona kind of like starts to work with revenants and everything, she is the one who buries the talisman again.
There is it. Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, how does that work? Is it has to be an herb? Doesn't have to be an herb?
Well, we know that Bobo has lied to Waverly, but there's no telling. Remember, she was a kid, and that was her imaginary friend.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I
it
Yeah.
really got stuck to my mind. And I was like, so like I said, I just moved to US in January, and back in my country in Armenia, I've watched absolutely all of the cons and all of the panels that they have done. And
Oh wow.
every time I was watching it, I was like, why can't I be there to ask that question?
I know. It's crazy because like
I
I
was
was thinking about today. I was like, I'm thinking. I know. I want to ask Emily. I'm like, okay, so tell me why this has not happened. Can you explain it? Because I suspect it's very deliberate, not by accident.
yeah.
I think it's a
Oh,
very deliberate thing. I don't think we're going to see it happen until they get married.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that they'll say that when they're getting married.
I don't think it's going to, and that's going to be an epic
Yeah.
wedding. I
The,
have to show you my shirt though on
oh yeah,
screen. I don't know if you can see
that's
it.
something. Can you like do it little so like the
Let's see. Can
yeah,
you? Is
here's
that better?
that is perfect. I swear. Like down to the second.
No, I know it's awesome. It's the best. It's the best shirt ever.
So good. I'm not
You
even kidding.
know.
I've cried after I saw the scene. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I
I,
was. I was boohooing when they saw each other. Like I totally was like, oh, tears running down my face.
I was so happy. Like I was genuinely happy.
The way it was filmed was so beautifully done and elegant and classy, and it reminded you of a scene that you would only see heterosexual couples do on TV. And it was truly beautiful. There's something about that scene. You may or may not want to put this in the video, but
There is actually a
it's just it was such a the lighting, the sun coming through
oh the
the
window.
background through the window, and because of the light, it gave a little bit of a rainbow-esque, filter on it.
Yeah.
Was so pretty,
Yeah, I
so
swear
pretty,
that that scene was like everything I've ever wanted, and I didn't even know that I needed it.
right? But they, I don't honestly think they fully grasp the kind of icons they become for this community. I don't think they have. I think they kind of get a little bit of it, but I just don't think that they. I know they know through going to the cons and the different things that they do that they touch fans,
Yeah.
but I just don't think they realize the magnitude of the kind of iconic characters they've become for lesbians, for queer community, period.
See, like this is another reason that I'm like getting into this videos. Of course, like the main purpose of it is that to like fight for the season 5 and that we get the season 5, and hopefully it's not the like the finale.
Yes.
Season.
I'm gonna just.
Yeah,
I think I would just. It's gonna crush people.
let's just not talk about it.
Yeah, let's not talk about that because that's just not gonna happen.
Let's do
That's just.
one season at a time. Like first, let's do the 5th one, and then we'll see what we can do.
Well,
So
I was watching the podcast earlier today from the weekend with Tim and Varun,
yeah.
and they were talking about, well, they're not even sure when the second half of the season is going to air on TV yet.
Mhm.
So, in a way, I think that's a good thing because it gives more time for the fan base to build a little bit and to kind of push for the 5th season. So we'll see. So, but yeah, you are absolutely awesome. Like, you have to be my friend from now on.
Yeah. For sure.
Sisters from another mister.
For sure. For sure. Okay, so I want to like genuinely thank you for like the massive amount of like personal and like info that you shared, and it truly takes someone very brave and confident in themselves to be able to talk about those things openly, and I'm really thankful for that. And I want you and other people that I'm gonna talk to and make these videos like literally like shed light to the stories and how the show has impacted so many people
I
because
think the mental health aspect
yeah, yeah,
is phenomenal.
the mental health aspect is crazy because I'm seeing so many comments and so many like Twitter posts and everything. I'm like, oh my god, there's like literally hundreds of thousands of people who like didn't go to therapy and just watched the show and now they're fine.
Right? I
It is
know.
insane. I've never seen anything with any other show whatsoever. Anything.
I've never seen this kind of response with anything either. Back in the day, I was a big Xena fan, but that's still and that was a big time, had a big fan base back
Yeah.
then. But it doesn't compare to this at all, because this, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that I think this digital age we live in provides more access
Yeah.
to this kind of content, and so it makes it a lot more accessible. YouTube alone makes it more accessible,
Yeah.
and it's a truly amazing thing. So I appreciate you listening, because it
Of course.
it I've come a long way. I've still got a ways to go,
Yeah.
but the light that they handed to me when I was truly in the darkest part of my life,
Mhm.
gratitude will never be enough.
Yeah.
So it just won't. One day, I hope to thank them in person. That's if I could actually get the words out of my mouth, because I think I'd be dumbstruck.
Yeah, that's the hard
Oh,
part. Like when you're like, I can't even imagine how's that gonna look like when you're like standing. You know that when Waverly says like when the thing that you're scared of the most is like sitting right in front of you, it's gonna
I'm gonna hold a sign up that says that. It says,
it,
when the
it's gonna be
scariest
like that
thing,
10 times worse. 10 times worse.
I genuinely think I would just probably pass out right in front of the two of them if
Yeah,
I was standing there. I just would. I'd just probably stand there with my mouth shut, just because I couldn't speak.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Look at
So
the beautiful
I
sun.
know that is such a cool. That's such a cool effect in this. You're
Right?
gonna have to put
Like,
it in. Like
like
that's the light. That's the light they were shining on me. But thank you so much. We totally have to keep in touch and
of course,
video chat me anytime, girl.
for sure.
Because we have to. You find me on Facebook. Facebook friend me. The whole thing, because
I
you're.
texted
Um,
so many people and so many pages. I literally like I don't think no. You find me in the from the comments, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I saw your post and I posted to your comments, and then that's when you responded back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah. So I like uh, wrote this letter, like the text or whatever. So I sent it to like a bunch of people, and I actually copy pasted it, and I said it like in the message. I'm like, I'm sending this exact message to everyone. Like I literally say, I copy paste this message and send it to everyone until I
That's pretty
find
funny.
people who I can make the video calls with.
Wouldn't
I'm
trade it for nothing.
I'm thinking that I should have like a segment where like we kind of like react to the episodes, like with the conference.
Oh, yeah.
I
I'm totally down.
I think it can be great and it can be
Mhm.
insane at the same time.
I've watched some of the reaction videos of people
Oh my!
reacting.
I swear to God,
I can't even imagine what I look like.
those reaction videos are insane. You know, abnormally Adam.
Yes, I watch him.
Oh my god, he is hilarious.
Yeah, some of them are so funny, but I can't even imagine what I look like when I'm watching the show. I need to video myself one time.
Me too. I was thinking of starting doing the reactions, but then I was like, that's gonna be too nasty. I don't want to. I was like, I would rather
It's
like
funny.
I this idea just like came to me like all of us. I think I was walking my dog 2 days ago. I swear to God, I was walking my dogs 2 days ago, and I was like, I was thinking about it because I was thinking about doing the channel and like talking about how it personally affected me, like do a reaction video and like all
Yeah,
of that. And then all of a sudden, I was like, we have so many other people who would have so much to share. Like it would be
yeah.
so cool. Everyone would be interested, and it would be a great campaign for like Fight for Winona. Why
Not only that, but I think it's a great avenue to connect people with,
Yeah,
and to help people realize that they're not alone in this. That the mental health has become such an issue in today's society that it needs to be addressed much more than it is.
definitely.
And so um, I think that, just from my personal connection, how I connected with Dominique in particular, with the meditation and that kind of aspect of it, and it's I can't imagine I'm the only one.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and
you know,
I'm sure other people would love to know that they're not the only one either.
I would like to. I've been like, when I first came out 7 years ago, I was very active on Twitter at first for a while. I was trying to reach out and make friends and things like that. And so I've really kind of gone back to Twitter, and I'm trying to reach out and meet new people and maybe make some friends,
Mhm.
and um, uh, just broaden my friend social group, so to speak,
Yeah.
because it's so small. I have so few friends, and I haven't really made any real connections yet.
Hmm.
But you're really kind of the first one I've talked to.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm totally, girl.
It's reciprocated.
So
Sure.
I know it's just like totally crazy. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I'm so down for it. And just for the record, if you ever get to talk to them, you better throw my name at them. I'm just saying. If something comes of this. So just saying, just saying.
Okay,
You
for
better
sure.
invite me along since I was your first person. Just want to talk Winona? I'm down. Because I have it on video nonstop.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, for the last actually since the fourth season started, it's the only thing I ever watch. I keep rewatching it. I just keep rewatching it and rewatching it, and I pick up more stuff each time.
And I also
I'm
like rewatch all of the reactions because it's so hilarious. Like
oh
I'm sure I've watched the whole show from the beginning to the end with Adam, with Free Bicycle Tours. There's this other girl, I don't remember her name. Um, God, I don't remember her name, but I'll drop her name in the description for sure.
yeah.
I've watched the whole show with them, like from the first reactions that they did to the last and until the season 4 right now that they're doing, at least 7 to 8 times each. At
Oh
least.
yeah.
It's so
That's funny.
hilarious and it cracks me up every single time. Every time I watch the same bit and it like crack up laughing on the same thing.
You want to know a scene that makes me laugh every time I see it, because it's just so over the top, and it's that scene when Waverly and Winona are training, and Winona is pregnant, and she
The
does that
belly
black flip,
bump.
and then when she taps her belly and says high five.
Oh yeah.
Every time it just gives me the giggles.
I
Every time I see that, it gives me the giggles because
Yeah.
it's so absurd.
The third season, episode 7, when Nicole and Winona get drunk in a Revenant bar, and
They're
then
handcuffed together.
yeah, and then they're back in the station, and then there's Gnome that wants to have a wife or whatever. That whole
I'm a lesbian. Like you've never experimented, not with gnomes.
like it's so insane. She's like you never had an experimental, not with gnomes. It's,
I know.
that conversation is hilarious. It's so genius,
Oh,
crazy.
oh, I know. It's just the genius of the show is amazing.
The humor stuff that the writers come up with,
Oh
honestly,
God, so funny.
10 times better than any comedy show, for sure. It's just like
Yeah,
cracks you up like that every time you watch it.
and you're always surprised.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always surprised at some of the stuff that they say. Now, at this point, you can't necessarily predict what they're going to say,
Yeah,
but
you
know something's coming. You know something good is about to be said. One of my favorite things to do is when I go back and I rewatch it, instead of watching the characters, I look at the background and I look at where they're at. And I look at the environment where they're at. And I look for different things, different clues, and all different kinds of stuff. And I look for different stuff like that.
Yeah, that's how everyone noticed that Nicole has changed the drawer picture of her in the dress, switched it to Waverly when she was like left home for 18 months.
Well, did you notice that Waverly in her bedroom was a twin bed originally with a wire bed frame, and it's not anymore?
Yeah, they changed
It's at least a full-size bed.
They changed
And they changed the bed, but not a lot of people would necessarily pay attention to that. That's the kind of stupid shit that I see.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's not stupid. No, it's so.
No, but you know what I mean. That's the my throat off twisted nerdy brain. That's the kind of stuff I look for. You know, because those inconsistencies and things like that. Hey, it was awesome, and it's fantastic to meet you and gain a new friend.
Fantastic to meet you too, for sure. Just drop me your number and I'll text you and we'll be in touch, okay?
Awesome. Thank you again.
Take care.
Bye. You too. Bye-bye.